Welcome to Love Jones Therapy. My name is Sweets. I have my moderator right here helping me out. This is Nicole. And we got my mic runners, Janaea. And we got Natalie. So that way this whole thing will run smoothly and everybody will be happy. Because you guys have a voice too, right? And you got them you heard. So they're going to help me. Now, face forward. We got my lovely panelists of life coaches. We got YouTube going on right here too. Like, I'm going to give them a chance to speak so that way their voice can be heard so you understand what they do and where they're coming from. The microphone. Thank you. And later on, I got key tags for everybody. I just want to make sure that everybody was here so that way you'll be able to follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And we have social media. Everything is Love Jones Therapy right across the board. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure for me to be back with Love Jones Therapy. I was from the original many, many years ago. I don't even want to tell you how many years ago that was, but we're pushing like maybe 10, if so, yeah. So my name's Jennifer, but I go by Baby G. If anyone listened to 105.5 FM on a Friday morning with C Live and Tuesday evenings with Confunction with Night Rider, that was my voice. And I loved doing a talk show. We used to do a lot of community-focused discussions, a lot of black empowerment, a lot of youth empowerment discussions, and really and truly that was my passion, and I loved doing it. And I also played a lot of old school music. So you don't know, I throw parties once or twice a year, boat cruises. I'm that girl. I'm the go-to girl. So I hope that I serve you well today with my knowledge of relationships and the wider society in general. I'm going to pass this on to my co-host.
Ooh, co-host. I like the way that sounds. So professional. So you got to bring that back. What do you mean you used to? You got to bring that back, right? So my name is Elizabeth Correa. I am a women's and youth empowerment speaker, author, mentor. I have been speaking for about 15 years. I'm extremely passionate about, all things in regards to women's and youth empowerment. Not that I'm not passionate about the men's empowerment as well, but that is definitely my focus. I'm honored to be here. I'm a newbie, so I'm not, yeah, I'm a newbie. Yeah, so happy to be here. Let me pass this on to my co-host. Oh, you got your own mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Love Jones Therapy, and my name is Kim Thomas. Like Baby G, I've been on the panel for a few years, and I'm so honored to come back and to serve and to see new faces and to share in knowledge. My background's in education. I'm a teacher. I work for the board now as a partnership kind of a guru. So outside of that, I have several businesses. I'm a writer, speaker. I work around building and connections, and I'm a health and wellness coach. And I'm excited to share with you guys today, and it's so nice to be in this space where we can share and make a difference. So looking forward to serving with you on the panel. And I'm going to hand it over to my co-host over here.
Go ahead. Good evening, y'all. Can you hear me? Now, before I introduce myself, I want a favor from y'all so we can get back to y'all, okay? I need energy from y'all, all right? I need to engagement. I need excitement. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to argue. I want to debate, but I do not want, I want to argue.
Him and debate.
But what I do not want is silence and y'all sitting down. You have paid some money to get entertained and you to walk away with, a takeaway. So help me help you or help us help you. All right? Thank you. So my name is Kinetic. A lot of you might know me as a promoter. I wear many hats. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a new organization called Black Wine Society, where we'll be doing focused festivals that have inclusion for surrounded by black wine. For us, we don't have that. Lifestyle aficionado, track speed aficionado, trendsetter, disruptor, and all-around good guy.
Hello, my name is Buck, last name Wheat. I'm just a regular dude, real raw. And I have a YouTube channel coming out, and I'll be giving away a car log on. You might win it.
Hi everyone, thanks for being here. My name is Candy with a K. I also have a YouTube plus Zoom channel. It's called Candy's Confess and Confessions. I also have my own business. It's called Candy's Sexual Desires, where I sell sex toys. I'm a mother of 5. I'm very simple, love sex, so that's what my industry is. So if you guys want to ask those questions too, I'm here for you guys. But thank you for being here.
I might. Okay, I'm on. Y'all hear me? Okay, good. I'm sorry, you said you're giving away a car? That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Hi everyone, my name is Sir Worthy. I have a YouTube channel. I'm Not Rich, I'm Not Lying. It's also a podcast I do. I used to host a radio show on campus radio when I was in college. What I do is on my YouTube and my podcast, I just bridge the gap and help men and women understand each other. So as long as you're not, easily offended, then you'll like what I'm gonna say.
And also before we move on, for anyone who's actually more involved, I have special gifts for you guys to give out for a couple, 1 male and 1 female. So let's let you guys know.
Last but not least, my name is GQ, and just want to say I want to apologize to everybody I'm late. I'm from Jamaica, so you know how that goes. Yes. My Jamaicans in the building. Yes, you know what it is. At least you're awake, so that's a good start. I just want to invite, I say welcome to everybody for coming out, and I am sorry for being late. It's starting. I'm coming from about an hour away, and poor management, time management. So my name is GQ. I do entertainment in the city of Toronto. I'm a corporate director for 2 telecommunication companies overseas and 1 in the US. I graphic design, I sew, I cook. Good night. I do a lot of things, but overall I give advice to my very close friends of all ages and all different races. So I've been through a few relationships. I was on the first panel for Sweets for the Love Jones. The first one, it was amazing. So I'd like to welcome everybody on board, and we're ready to get started. So Sweets, it's all yours.
Okay, so before we start, we're going to do a little, give some ground rules as how we're going to proceed tonight. First of all, there will be no foul language used. We could conduct ourselves without swearing and without foul language, without derogatory comments. We're going to be respectful of everybody. Can I get somebody to say agree with me? All right. And we're going to keep the responses to less than 2 minutes, please, because we have a lot of questions and the night is long, right? We want to mix and mingle and have some fun, but also get to the topics at hand. I also wanted to shout out, I'm not sure where she went. Oh, there she is. I have to shout out Angela. If anybody remembers who this is, you should know. That doesn't mean it shows your age. It just knows that she was the head queen of Epiphany. Can I get you guys to give her a round of applause? No, you guys could do better than that. The people in here that went to Epiphany knows. Okay.
And also voluptuous clothing as well.
Yes, voluptuous clothing.
Yeah.
So
Plus size.
we have the icon in the building.
And also, She's also a psychotherapist, certified. So she will be helping us as to the why to all the questions that we have here. Okay, so give her a round of applause for giving us her time.
I know you guys could do better than that. I know you guys ain't hungry. Okay, because we need the energy. I know you guys have energy. Black people have energy.
And you guys ate too. Come
yes.
on.
Come on. It is Sunday afternoon. The night is long. It's family day, long weekend. I need the energy up in this place, please.
And later on this evening, after this is done, we have an after party. So
yes.
So come on, keep the energy high. Okay?
All right. So
go ahead.
We're going to have the first question. The term high value man and woman have become a popular narrative when talking about love and relationships. Should we consider someone's value when looking for a partner? I give it to one of you that would like to answer this question.
I believe that was my question, so I want to hear somebody.
High value man and high value woman. So hands up, who's heard that term high value man and high value woman? Okay. Yeah, so a lot of you haven't heard it because I didn't see a lot of hands go up, but it is a term that has been used in women and men seeking a high value partner, right? So high value meaning somebody who is successful economically, they have a great job, they have a solid bank account, they're professional, and they look a certain way, they're in a certain circle, they're considered high value. A high value woman could be a woman who is educated, is in the job field and in a certain circle and makes a certain amount of money. So that term high value man and woman was, I think, created in social media. The question is it a good thing to use that as a preface, to seek a high value man or a high value woman? Well, depending on how we view value, right? So I think that's the thing, is that in that conversation that's been on social media about women seeking a high value man, meaning a man who makes a lot of money, is very successful, that is problematic in the sense that value shouldn't be determined by how much money you make. So it's how we look at that term, right? Because high value really should be the value of your character, the value of how you love, the value of how kind you are. So I do think that we need to look at that when we're in conversations, when we're talking about a high value man or a high value woman, is that we need to be the change and begin to switch the narrative and to look at that high value as character, right? Because that is what matters the most, is somebody's character.
I love that. So, keeping in context, though, to the actual term high value person, which is basically based on finance and not your social skills, per se, for lack of a better term. I'll start by saying my only caveat is this, is that and I know I'm lost for words, but I think
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But when you talk about value, who doesn't meet somebody and is not looking at them as they're valuable, whether they have money or not? You get value out of that person, whether it's the smile that they give you, the time that you spend with them, right? So we don't pick anybody and think that, all right, we'll pick somebody and we can say that this person is more valuable than that person. Okay, whatever. But whoever you're with is always going to give you some type of value. When the value runs out, that's when the relationship runs out. So regardless whether you're high, low, or mid, you're valuable to me when I'm with you, right?
And just to jump in, sorry not to cut you off at all. If we're looking for value, we have to have our own self-evaluation for value. If you are not aware of what you have to offer and who you are as a person, you're not going to be able to offer that to anybody else, right? Am I right? Right. If we are broken inside and we haven't healed yet, it's not a good time to look for that self-value from somebody else, because it's not going to work, right?
Okay, so I was just told a few seconds ago, you guys have to project your voice because the back can't hear you. So amplify so people could hear you in the back. Okay? Yes, we're going to go to the audience. Does anybody have anything to add or ask any questions of the panelists in regards to this question? Don't be afraid. Anybody want to add to this question? We need some feedback. What do you guys think about adding about the value question? I know there has to be somebody that has another question in regards to this because you guys were all agreeing when they answered the question. So I know you might have an additional question or two to ask the panelists to help you out. Okay, I did see. Oh, my girl, Rose.
Good evening.
There is a girl that's back here.
Me first or her first?
Ladies first. Can somebody bring her the mic? You have to put up your hand so they could see, so they give you the mic.
You can stand up. Yeah, thank you, honey.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I do agree when it comes to character. I think that when you're choosing a mate, you have to be very careful how you choose that mate. If you focus on material things, when the material things run out, the relationship run out. So choose wisely on things that you can build, right? If you find a partner that, want to work with you, he may not have all the material things that you desire and everything like that, but you can build together. It's lasting.
Amen.
Good answer. Good answer. Anybody else? Oh, we have another hand up here.
Over here. I think it's my turn.
Thank you.
Can I get you to stand, please?
Sorry, I forgot about you. Hi, okay, so with a society that's basically built on everything that you can see, from social media to social media, when you, hold on. Better? All right, good. So in a society where we live in, and when all you see is, social media, people lying on social media, we know that there's hurt people that hurt people and all this stuff. I think instead of looking for a mate, just like he said, fix yourself, because there's too many broken people in broken relationships sitting down wasting time. You understand me? Valuing the wrong things. You value his penis today, it's gone tomorrow, you jump on another one tomorrow. You value his money today, money gone, you don't value that anymore. You value the person, you continuously find things to value about that person. People forget when you're in a relationship, it's work. Marriage, your first fight is when your marriage begins. So like all this stuff, it's all pretty and stuff. So how do we avoid that? How do we avoid, I know that I shouldn't be with a bad boy, but my love them bad. Only being honest. Like, I'm not trying to pretty up the thing, you know what I mean? If we're going to be real, let's be real. It's fine and dandy that we sit here and say what we should do. But let's talk about what we do so that we can talk about not doing it anymore. Let's be honest.
That's a good point.
Very good, very good. Okay, we have actually, Anthony's been waiting. I have to remember that he's the camera guy as well, but also he wants to ask a question.
Let's check the value factor. Most people look at, when they hear value, they're talking about material things. But when you're looking for a mate, everybody in here, most of them are looking for some material. What you have to understand is you have to find value in yourself first. You want to go look here, there, and everywhere else. See what you bring to the table, what you offer. And I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about the little things that to build on so that the person who you're looking for, you complement. Because value means so many things to different people. Because when you say value, 8 out of 10 people in here is going to be talking about money. Okay. Let's be real.
That's what I was trying to say. Well, that's what I was trying to say originally. That, you see, I was trying to find the words for it, but basically this. High value, there's two different roles to that, those two different perspectives, right? There's the woman high value, as my colleague had said, and then the man version, so woman and man. And remember, when it comes to a man, we will take up a woman that doesn't have anything and mind that woman and go through that whole perspective, where a woman, 9 times out of 10, won't.
Okay, all right.
Hold on.
Okay. And I'll say it this way. And I will say it this way.
Let it finish.
I gotta jump in now.
Okay. Hold on one second. Hold on.
And
a second. Hold on. Let him finish, please. I know I was getting amped myself, and I'm the moderator, but we have to be respectful of everybody's opinion, regardless if you agree or disagree. We have to agree to disagree. So let him finish his question. Let him finish his response. You might need a bodyguard to leave here afterwards.
Now,
but let's make him finish, please. Okay.
So the second part of that is this, is that if a woman does back a man, how long will she do it for?
Not long.
No, let him
I give
finish.
it to y'all.
Let him finish.
Not long.
It won't be long. It won't definitely.
Hold on. I'm going to bring it back again. We have to be respectful. We're not going to jump in everybody's response. We have to be respectful. We're going to make everybody finish their response, and we move on. Okay? So we have a young lady here in the audience that wants to say something.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mercedes. And I do kind of want to speak from perspective. When it comes to valuing people in relationships, I think that a lot of people lie to themselves about what they can and cannot handle. Like, you meet somebody and they have a car, they have their own place, they have everything, and it's like, you're seeing the value, you're seeing, okay, this person's on the same track as me. You don't foresee sickness, you don't foresee burnout, you don't foresee, like, just these unexpected things that people don't account for. And when it comes to picking a partner, you have to think to yourself, like, there are going to be bad times. If you get into a relationship and you say to yourself, this is going to be the one, this is going to be the fairy tale, you're setting yourself up for failure. People have ugly sides. Even the best person in the world has an ugly side, whether it's 20 years in the past or whether it's when they get angry. So you have to think to yourself, what are my boundaries? What do I want and what do I absolutely 110%, even if I see a smidge of it, I do not want. And you need to let people know that, because like she said, there are a lot of people in broken relationships, and the reason why they're not healing is because they're not being real with what it is that they cannot handle. Amen. There are a lot of people that have been cheated on, and now when they think that their person is cheating, they're overcompensating. They're cleaning the house, they're cooking meals they've never cooked before, doing tricks they've never done before. And it's all to save something that they should let go of. Whether it's a marriage, whether you have children, I commend people that realize what real value is. It does not lie in a person. Value transcends human beings. You either follow it or you don't, And a lot of people, like the older that we get, back in the days, men, you were right. Men do take up women and mind them and they have nothing. But nowadays, to be honest, if I speak from my own experience, I grew up in a family where my mom was doing backflips to keep everything together. And when men get comfortable, that's it. Whatever men are comfortable with, I used to live in a 3-bedroom with all my men, and now I'm here living with a woman, and she pays all the bills. It doesn't make a difference to me. If this falls apart, I go right back to my boys. A lot of people are in that mindset, and it's scary because they won't admit it. So people need to start being truthful about what it is value means to them.
Thank you.
That was
so
very
Jennifer?
Good. Yes.
We're going to have Jennifer also respond.
This topic is kind of transcending because it's covering a few things. First, we started with what's the definition or this new thing about value. I think value to everybody is different. It could be looks, because we haven't talked about looks. We just kind of focused on the financial aspect of value. It could be spirituality. My mother wants me to marry a Christian. She keeps saying, your husband in at the church. So it depends on what your definition of what value is. But what this young lady just brought up is sometimes you don't have your own boundaries set, meaning you don't know yourself enough. And I think, even from personal experience growing up, you think you know things that you read in a book or what the pastor said at church, and you think that's checklist, I work, I'm faithful, I'm a good person. But sometimes there's a lot of triggers that we may have, from childhood disappointments to abuse to other things that we have not dealt with. And then you see this person and you think, okay, hunky-dory, this relationship's good. He works, he has a job, he looks good. He may even go to church with you. But you haven't handled your triggers. You haven't handled the things that are inside of you that, like this young lady said, if this person hits that trigger, that's it for you. That's it for you. And the trust is gone or what have you. So you really have to know yourself before you even start looking at the internet talking about high value partner, because it doesn't matter how good that person is, doesn't matter how dedicated he is. If you don't know yourself and you don't value yourself, it doesn't matter how much value that person has, it's going to go away. No matter how much nice cars he has, how much Gucci bag he buy you, or anything like that. All of that will fade away if you don't value in yourself and know what your boundaries are, what your likes and your dislikes are.
Good answer. Okay, we're going to take one more.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Before that, there's somebody back here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we're going to get Angela to give her insight on this as well. Go ahead, Angela.
Tell it just done.
Yeah, she's going to.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to see a show of hands of everybody here who has a Caribbean background. Okay.
Who has that? You have to just talk a little bit louder.
Caribbean. Can you hear me? Caribbean background. Okay. So,
how many people in here are Caribbean background? Raise your hands, please.
So a bit of what we call psychoeducation is slavery happened very differently for the people from the Caribbean. When we were taken, we lost everything. The people that were brought to the Caribbean, their history, who they are built off of what we call colonization. Right? So everything that we are and we know is built off of trauma. So I like that the panelists were saying that it starts within you, understanding you have trauma. Right? And the way that you look at things is trauma-based because of our history and because of what our foreparents went through back in the Caribbean. So that journey now that we have to do is start to love and understand how we know what we know. Oh, yeah. So as we go forward, let's try and keep that in perspective. How do we know what we know? Ask ourselves that question. Where did I learn this from? How did I get this from? How do I know that I need to find a man who has a big car, a fancy job, or I need to find a lawyer woman? How did I get to that spot?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I see somebody else has their hand up at the back. We're going to take 3 more questions. Can you hear? They're coming. They're coming. We're going to take 3 more, and then we're going to move on to the next question. So if you want to ask a question, 3 people. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, good night, everyone. My name is Sharon, and it's to piggyback off of a few of your comments.
Yeah, I can't hear you. The mic is not on.
Sorry. To piggyback off of a few of the panel's comments.
Somebody give her a mic that works, please.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. Hello, mic check.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good night, everybody. My name is Sharon. So what I was just saying, to piggyback off of a few of the panel about, the conversation from tonight. First of all, yes, so to piggyback off of the whole topic tonight, to me, the first thing, okay, here we go. The first thing I think in value is to love yourself. If you cannot love yourself, you cannot love anybody. You can't love your children. You can't love your parents. You can't love a friend. You can't love any family members. So to me, love is the ultra important part of this thing. Now, when I look at relationships, a lot of people sit down, particularly the nowadays generation, they sit down and they look first at the clothes someone wears, what they have, the car they drive, the homes that they live, which means nothing because you don't know how they got it. You have absolutely no idea how they got it. You go to sleep at night, you don't know what's coming. Now, when you sit down and you think realistically within yourself and you thread that right path, you can go to sleep at nights with your eyes closed. There's many, many nights I sleep with my doors open. Nobody has ever come in. I don't wish harm to anyone, which is what I find that the black society, we live like crabs in a barrel. We could thrive to be so great because when you stop and you look at the situation, we are the majority. We are absolutely the majority. We just have to drop the pride and the bull that we like to talk about and come together, work with each other instead of saying, okay, well, I am at this level, but I'm not going to let my brother come up to that level. Now, the brother down here, if he asks, how did you get to that level? They will say, oh, it's just by luck. They will never teach you the correct way, the right way, the decent way of how we attained to this level because they do not want you at that level. They just want you to stay down. It's not like you stop and you stretch your arms down to help your brother up.
Everybody should love each other.
Which is where we're supposed to go. In life, it's what God put us here on earth for, and we should be honored that there's a God above us that loves each and every one of us.
Okay, so we're going to stick to what the question was. We don't want to go and derail from it. I'm asking everybody to stick to the topic at hand, please. After, at the end, we may have an open floor where you guys could voice different concerns, different questions. But right now, let's stay in the lane. Let's not divert.
Yeah.
Next person that had the question, we're taking two more, please. And then we're going on to the next question.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. In regards to the question of value, the term value is regarded, it actually has a meaning in regards to usefulness. So I feel that most people are looking to use someone. In regards to actually themselves, actually taking it upon themselves and doing it for themselves instead of looking for someone else to do it for you. When you was born alone, unless you was born with a twin. So most cases, you should be doing for yourself. You shouldn't be looking for anyone to do anything for you. And if you are, maybe you need help, and I get that. But value is usefulness. So you're looking for a person who is useful to you. Remember that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So I'm going to try and keep it short and concise. Because one thing that I didn't hear is, people are talking about we don't have a blueprint, and then, there's discussions about heritage and where we're from, and then it's like that branches off because not everybody's history was impacted by the transatlantic slave trade. I'm not hearing anybody talk about therapy. I'm not hearing anybody talk about self-awareness. As an adult, you need to be self-aware of yourself and your values and know what those look like and what those are represented in the relationships that you want. And in doing that for yourself, then you then attract that same person. A lot of people look for potential in other people, and the question, what are you looking for in a man? When I say it, I'll know. I'm not going to tell you what it is, and then you try and mask your values to match my own, and then down the line, it's, oh my goodness, I never knew because you had on all these blinders. Like, some men want to be bakers, have their cake and eat it too, and some women, some people want to be painters. They want to paint this image of a person of how I want you to be, then they disappoint themselves because they're not really seeing the person for who it is. They're seeing them for the values that they want them to have, but they don't have it. So you need to be self-aware within yourself. Check yourself. Whatever childhood traumas you don't address your relationships well. Therapy, like, do it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Great responses.
Yeah, great responses. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next question. You guys are ready for that, right? Okay. What is the role in the relationship between the man and the woman? What are the roles?
But I didn't even get to talk.
There's no roles?
So I'll start this one off. So if you guys just bear with me for a second. So the role to each person is going to be significantly different. My role compared to Baby G's role is going to be so different. You have to know what your expectations are in the relationship in order to deliver. Now, a lot of people have this self-image, and I believe that, even myself, self-image is something that we praise about ourselves and how we direct our life, the things we want to acquire, education, family, our kids, whatever it is. But that self-opinion of yourself has to be realistic, is what I'm saying. So in the role, a relationship between man and woman, or you and your partner, whichever it may be, you have to be honest with yourself. Honesty means being real, keeping it 100, and everybody knows what that is. We come across people that aren't real in life. They portray a different illusion of life or themselves and become that fairy tale that everybody sees on Instagram. Boy, him look good. Oh, she look nice. Him have this, she has that. But in reality, some of them are very broken and very hurt and very alone.
Can I, I would like to add that people that lie to themselves will lie to you too. And a lot of people are lying to themselves. So whether they're looking in the mirror or they're looking in their phone, they're telling themselves a story and they're painting a story for you. And this young lady mentioned that sometimes they try to mirror things that you expect from them because you already gave them the recipe. I want this, I want that. And the person who's lying to be like, oh, I could do that, I could do this. They call that love bombing. And that usually happens in the beginning of the relationship. That person is so perfect. And oh my God, he's finishing my sentences. And oh, I seen a man do that. I'm going to take this personal. One time I heard a guy, because I mentioned that I was into real estate, and I grew up downtown Toronto. I went to school at St. Clair and Winona. So I love downtown architecture and, you know, triplexes. And I remember mentioning it vicariously that I like these you know, I said, hey man, now I have to go into some Jamaican. About 6 months later, boy, Jennifer, you know, I want to buy a house downtown, you know, one of them old house, and we're going to work on that. And I'm thinking, how did he know? Like, that's just right up my alley. Not remembering that I gave this guy the recipe months before. So that's the type of thing that people who are liars to themselves will do. And unfortunately, we become a victim to it because we fall prey. Oh, that's my timer telling me to stop chatting.
Yes, that means thank you.
Again, the role
Yes.
in the relationship.
Role.
The role in the relationship.
I'm good.
I have an acronym for the role of the man. So I have it under 4 P's. Number 1 is to protect, right? So protect. Number 2 is to provide. Provided all that word includes security, love, the whole gamut. Number 3 is to problem solve, right? So be the problem solver. And number 4 is to pray. To pray and to cover her. So those 4 P's. So for the woman, I don't have an acronym, but I'll say the role of the woman is to affirm a man, right? To affirm him, to empower him, to cheer him on, to be his cheerleader. and to be that person, that rock. I would also say the woman needs to also be the provider in the home, in the work, in the professional. So everything that that word provide, that is the key takeaway is that word provide for each other, and to be the provider, right? Be that safe space, providing vulnerability, courage, providing an atmosphere where your husband or your partner can feel they can flourish, right? And to be a light, right? So this world can be very tough and challenging, and we need to be a light, so that your partner looks at you and they see light and love, right? And your joy, it's a place of joy and respect. A man needs to be respected and valued. So those, I'm sure we have lots more, but I would say that was my takeaway on the role of a man and a woman.
Good answer.
Powerful, right? Powerful, right? I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say that what was explained was the traditional roles. I believe those things have now been blurred through social engineering. There's been a purposeful, in other words, I guess, a intentional reverse, Jenna. We had this discussion. Ironically, we had this discussion. Liz and I coming up in the car. I believe that there is a gender role that's been socially engineered to disrupt the family unit, to disrupt the ideas of, it basically, we are being controlled, we've been manipulated so we can be controlled, so they can take out the family unit, the alpha male. They've now made empowered women so that women supersede their men, right? There used to be a saying that if a man's the head of the household, the woman's the neck. We can't turn without the neck, right? But now that line is that they've now empowered women to the point that they surpass their man. And now what they've done is they've become masculine and comfortable in their masculine energy. That masculine energy now makes them independent of their man, which makes them independent of the family unit, and makes it allows them to say, it's okay, I'm not married. It's okay that I don't have a family. I'll be career oriented first. So the roles have been switched. So we need to get away from the idea that there are roles now. What we need to do is understand what has happened so we can repair that within our community.
Anybody else?
I'll just keep it short and sweet. Take care of me and I'll take care of us.
Nice response. Anybody else from the panel? Going once? Okay. I know there's some.
Yeah, they're all prompted. Yeah. Here we go.
Can we get the mic to, I believe you were the first one. Please stand.
Hi again. So I started writing talking points to keep myself on track. So roles do exist in relationships, but they aren't necessarily gendered. The gender roles that people normally talk about come from a time where women couldn't open a bank account and women couldn't work jobs legally. So it's not we don't have an accurate, it's not fair to say that these roles are just natural and what came about when it's literally we had restrictions. So I do believe in the protector, the provider, the praying. I definitely believe in that. But I think people need to realize that there is no shame in you trying something and not liking it. Everyone wants to work. Everyone feels like they have to have a job, at least part-time, to be considered a productive part of society, when in reality, there are people that would rather stay home and take care of the house, and it might not be the woman. After I give birth to the children and I breastfeed and I do all that stuff, maybe I do want time where no one's touching me and no one's following me to the bathroom and no one is asking me, mommy, can I have a hug? Can I have a hug? Work provides that place for you to get away from that. You have your time. And it's some men may not want to wake up from the crack of dawn and work labor to provide for their families. Some of them might want to stay home with the kids and make breakfast and make dinner and set the table. And I feel like it's really bad that we have this idea that social norms and gender roles are falling apart, when in reality, people nowadays are being real with themselves. They're embracing what they want to do and not forcing themselves to work a job that they hate just because they're the man and they should provide. Like you said, you can provide in multiple ways. You can be the light in your family in multiple ways. Just pick up where your partner cannot. You know, it shouldn't be forced. No one should be in a cage that you have to do all of these things just because of your gender or just because, you know, you wanted to do this thing or that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Somebody right here.
Evening,
Yeah,
everybody.
the back.
First?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Evening, everybody. First of all, I want to thank Sweets for putting on this event. Boy,
Thank you.
well needed. But I just want to say, my name is Stephen Johnson. I just want to say the role, too, of the relationships today have changed from our grandparents, right? And I'll give you an example. You know, ladies expect when you go out, you know, to the restaurant, you know, husband and wife or whatever, boyfriend and girlfriend, they expect the guy to take out the card and pay. Well, they should. No, who say as you should? See, that's the problem right there. When we go out, my wife and I go out to restaurant, sometimes she pays, sometimes I pay. That's how things have changed. Or boyfriend and girlfriend, fiance, whatever. But I'm just saying the roles have changed. And, you know, listen, I don't want to get myself in trouble at night now because, you know, but things have changed and we have to be respectful. And ladies and guys, you have to do a better job in selecting your relationships moving forward, you know, instead of looking for a different package or a different whatever. It's almost like a plan. You know, someone who works in a corporation, it's almost like a plan. You got to put a plan together and figure out what you want to do. And then you just keep working with that plan, right? So we have to do a better job on selection. Before I pass the mic over, I'll give you an example. I think this might be off topic. My daughter just told me yesterday, she said, listen, Daddy, my husband is, my boyfriend is picking the ring. I think he's going to propose to me soon. I say, picking ring? This young man ain't come to me and asked me for the hand in marriage. You talking about picking ring? So, again, too, you know, so I could let him know exactly what he need to do to move forward and whatever. And so I think we need to do a better job in the communication, the planning, moving forward in the relationship. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, was there somebody at the back?
Okay, go ahead.
Hi. Do you want to go first? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I talk really soft, but I will try to elevate my voice in this. So the only thing that I would like to say is directed to the comment about the alpha male. As an alpha woman, I feel like placing the burden on that woman to have to elevate to be that alpha woman is kind of unfair in our society right now. It was never an intention to do so, but it's something that we did do. And there's nothing wrong with being an alpha woman and to support relationships and to continue to have that, you know, whether it's a heterosexual relationship, man and woman, and you support your man to be supportive of an alpha woman. That burden shouldn't be viewed as negative. It should be as a positive thing that you are an alpha woman. You want your career, you want your family life, we want it all. And I think we should be continue to support women to have it all and being that alpha woman and supporting their family. If she's the person to do that, that is okay.
All right. That's a great
Thank you.
comment. I would like to make a comment if I can.
Yes.
So, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Look at Michelle Obama and her husband. Those are two alpha people. And they've navigated their relationship to make it work. There are so many attributes into a relationship that can throw it askew if your ego gets in the way. So what this young lady's talking about, being an alpha woman, that's a different topic I would love to get into right now, because I actually hate the moniker that there's a strong black woman and all this strong. I hate it. I have a problem with it because it punishes black women. But that's a different topic. A man is a man is a man. It doesn't matter if your woman makes more money than you. You're the man. So when we are sitting here talking about roles, just like Kim said, the man is the lion. He's supposed to protect. He's supposed to be the head. The woman is supposed to be the neck. Doesn't matter if she makes more money or she has a bigger degree. You are the man.
Thank you, baby G.
Hold
Hold on 1 second.
Hold on 1 second. George, we're here. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. So the question, the topic just now, one thing I have to say though, sorry to say, but the topic is, we're talking about two different generation of people. If we should really go dig deep, we're talking about two generation of people. Talking about man, always said that they the head of the house, which is, right? That was my mom, dad days up till in my age, but not this generation. This generation is different. It's way different. Social media take over this generation life when it comes to two couple in house, because it's gonna be a fight between a female and a male in the house who should actually do okay, like the two-person work. So if the man coming from work, okay, I'm gonna start cook. If the female come in first, then the female will start cook. But a man first will come in and lay down some and wait on the female for coming to come prepare the dinner. Now the woman now will come in and do the same thing, sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna wait on my husband to come in and cook, which is, it shouldn't be happen that way. I could put it very simple. Who first comes in, do something. But it's very hard to see. This generation, I'm telling you, social media take over everything. So no, everybody, they lost. I would say they lost. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you.
I think, so hold on, sweets.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm going to be very short. Roles. The problem I see a lot of people have is where people talk about social media, but you live in houses with your mother and your father, your grandparents. Take some lessons from there. You need to be looking at people right in front of you who you talk to every day. Instead of, yeah, we go outside and we interact with a lot of people. But when you're getting married and you're going for counseling, you go to a mechanic to ask about getting married. What's the sense in that? You need to have somebody, you're dating somebody, model. Have them model, or older couple or older sibling, model what roles, if you're defining your relationship by roles. If you're in a relationship and you're looking out, let's say for what it should look like, look within on what you want. Because just like the person just said, who comes home first, does something first, it's how you inside your house want to have it set. Not to set by, oh, you know, my girlfriend has this, I should have this. You know, my guy friend has this, my woman should be like this. I hear about that too many times. Keep your focus on each other.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna have 4 more. We're gonna change the question, but they had their hands up from a long time ago.
The
So
gentleman in the suit right there, the white
let
suit.
them have just the 4 people,
Okay.
and then we're gonna go on to the next question. Okay?
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
2 minutes.
Oh, this is going to be a minute and a half. I got you, ma'am. All right, so there are a couple of things that I need to dismantle. Hey, Kinetic. Let's start with the philosophy of an alpha male, which was created by an animal behavioralist in 1970, and then he turned around in 1984 and said he got it wrong. So we can throw out the alpha male and alpha female philosophy because the person who created it said he lied. Okay, so that's point 1. Point number 2. 80% of suicides on the planet are by men. Because of the narrative that men are supposed to be workhorses, walking ATMs, and are not allowed to be protected like they protect other people. So when we're having these conversations about how men should be the protector, the provider, pray over you, let's have a conversation about who's protecting men's psychology. Because the role in a relationship is to understand what your partner needs, step up to the plate and do what they need in the time that they need it. Because the reality is, I may need you to go ahead and fix my car on Monday, but you're going to need me to go ahead and mediate between you and your mother on Friday. And both those aspects are a form of protection and provision. And next Monday, you may need me to make dinner for you, and next Friday, I may need a massage. And at the end of the day, what works on Monday isn't going to work for a couple on Friday. So when we sit here, we talk about these gender roles as if people are going to be doing the same thing for the next 30 years. What you're doing is you're denying yourself the evolution and the exploration of your relationship because you're out here trying to fit into a box that does not bless you or help you grow.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know what? Before you go there, I just want to make sure that we acknowledge Miss Super Nerd, that she was my podcast cohort, and she should be on this panel as well as Michelle Golden.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on, hold on.
Yolanda.
George, right there.
Girl, you're on fire there. Wow. I was almost like, trying to, I see you doing your hands like this and all that. But anyway, the question, the role of a man and a woman in a relationship. To just summarize it, the role of a woman, or of a man, first of all, is to reign in the house. And the role of the woman, whether we like it or not, is to rule. And they do the ruling very well. Because if you think about it, we're talking about generational gap, like what you said and the other lady over there. Yeah, a lot of things have changed. But fundamentally, there are things that are still the same. Because culture and tradition will always demand those things from us. But every now and again, we escape from them. So what is happening here is that the woman is the one that rules in the house. And the Bible says so. I know you cannot find it in any verse or chapter, but the body is the one that carries the head, right? Hello? Okay, so that's the only thing that I can say about that, but fantastic show, bro. Fantastic. I love this.
Thank you, George. Thank you.
Okay, there was one more. Was it two more? Were there two?
Hello, good evening. I just wanted to say with the gender roles in relationships, I think it has a lot to do with culture, right? In a, let's say, African household, it's kind of like, depends on which part of Africa and whatnot, the men are more, the women stay at home and the men basically take care of the home. Now, in the West Indian culture, I find that a lot of men or women, they do not have that role model. A lot of us did not grow up in a two-parent home. Some women don't know how to be wives. Some men do not know how to be husbands. So the roles, we didn't see that. So some people, they learn in relationships. They don't know how to do it. It's not in their nature. But a man's job is to be the head of the home, right? Naturally, in my own self, I'm very strong in the way I speak, in the way I feel. But a man needs a woman that is soft, that is his love, that shows him love, and then he comes with the strength, and it comes together. If a man and a woman in this culture works together, they can build an empire. So I think that we need to work together, learn together, and grow together in relationships. That's just my
Thank you. Okay, there's one more person. Can I have your hand up? I think it was her. She was here. No, it was this girl here. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ready? Remember, you have 2 minutes. Go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, first I'd like to thank her in exactly what she stated, especially with the matter of man with mental issue. When we put so much pressure on man that they have to be the head and not the tail, when they're going through mental issues or
any kind of problems, they don't feel compelled to even talk to their significant other because they feel like you're a crybaby. I don't want that wussy man. No, we're not supposed to do that. So as she said, I believe that's exactly why Twitch, the other day, real life, ended up where he is. With that said, I think we all, especially as black people, need to take a step back in life. Whereas Bob Marley said it long time ago, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. We're all going through mental slavery. If we think that it's, all these things that's going, we're all going through mental slavery. And if we all don't go right back to Jeremiah 29:11, where it says, for I know the plan I have for you, says the Lord, and it is to prosper you and not to harm you. And then I go to my favorite scripture, Proverbs 3 verse 5, where it says, lean not on your own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all your heart, and he shall direct your path. And my pastor, Pastor John Sessa Taylor at Light and Life Ministries, my sisters over there, he makes me know Luke 10 verse 19, where it says, behold, I give unto you power to stamp over serpents and scorpions, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. I then go to Isaiah 60, verse 11, in knowing that it's not on my time, but it's on Jesus' time. And when God says, in Isaiah 60 verse 11, where Jesus says, when the time is right, I will make it happen. So we all need to trust in God with our entire heart, and all this Alpha, Omega, Sensa, it don't matter. Follow God's plan. It's his plan, and this world belongs to him and the fulfillment of it.
Amen. Can I get an amen?
Can I get an amen?
Thank you. God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Want to go a fear church and I look like she turned pastor.
Let me tell you.
Amen.
Pastor Taylor's church is the truth. Life and Light, I've been there many times, and yes, you need to go. Yes, he is. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the next question. I felt like we just had church up in here. Trust me. Okay. God is always in the center in anything we do. So
Yes, he is.
I'm going to go on to the next question. Okay.
Oh,
so
wait,
this one.
wait. Hold on 1 second.
Oh.
Angela.
Oh, yes. I can't forget you. She wants us to wrap this up.
Yeah.
1 second.
It is so nice to see black people talking, black people communicating. But I heard a comment, and I really wanted to go back to that comment, that it doesn't matter about what happened to us. It doesn't matter that slavery happened, right? It is the most important thing that we need to look at as we move forward, right? A trauma occurred to us. We were changed. Our families were changed. Originally in Africa, and all my African brothers and sisters here will tell you, their families are metrofocal. What that means is the woman is the center of the family. Not that she is the be-all and end-all and she does not support her man, but she is the center of the family. And that got brought with us when we were transported. Actually, when we were stolen. And our families still consist of that. Black women are the center of the family. We hold a lot as a black woman. We hold a lot. We must remember that. We must remember that we live in a society where gender roles exist. Right? As a community, how do we navigate that? We navigate that by understanding our foundation, understanding how our family operates, and understanding how do we put back the black family together so we can move forward.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Okay, so going on to the third question. Oh boy.
Only on the third question?
The third one, all right. I keep attracting the wrong type. What am I doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I keep on attracting the wrong type.
Okay.
What am I doing wrong?
Well, since we are talking about the subconscious mind and God, which lives in us, so a man thinketh, so is he. What you have inside of you, the energy that you have inside of you, my sisters and brothers, is what you project out there, and that is what you are going to attract. So if you are insecure, if you are doubtful, if you have all these negative thoughts about things, Murphy's Law they sometimes call it, you are going to attract that same thing. I say no more.
Baby G.
Yes.
Respectfully, I only agree with you halfway.
Okay.
You said what you put out is what you attract?
What you're thinking. What you're thinking.
But there are some people
You
who are
manifest your thoughts.
Right. But there are some people who are just, fine, attractive. They're going to get everybody in the room, right? And they're not putting out anything. So that's why I'm 50-50 with you. Yeah, but
we're talking about a relationship here. We're not talking about, I like everybody in here today. I think everybody's a good person in here today. That's different than your partner that you are bringing home and bringing them into an intimate relationship with you.
Yeah, but to get to that point, you have to attract them to you, right? So, first of all, if I see you and I don't like the way you look, you're not attracting me, right? So you attract me based on how you look, and then I meet you, and then the other things about you keep me even more and attract me even more to you.
I guess you've never dated an ugly girl.
No.
Okay. Well,
why would I?
I think
why would I?
You see now, that's
hold on.
I'm gonna leave that.
Wait.
Hey, hold on, everybody.
Hold on.
Guys, the audience said, what is attracted to you?
Okay. What is
to
ugly?
him may be ugly to you.
Yes.
All right? That's another point taken. But at the end of the day, whatever you give out. You can see someone simple. Sometimes we feel like we need to be loved. Everybody's searching for love or whatever, in the right and the wrong places, right? It's not just about physical. You can see someone, they look good and they're well dressed. Yeah, everything looks good. You can see somebody who looks all run down. You assume they don't have no money. You assume things is not good with them. But if you take the time to actually listen and communicate and respect that person, you get to find yourself loving that person, or being with that person, or being attracted to that person. Whether they're ugly or not, you can see an ugly person, whatever ugly is to everyone. And that's the most beautiful person out there. They may not have anything as much as you will hope to, but you know what? When you guys put yourself together, you can make a whole. Okay? So, what you attract is what you're looking for. Something again, you're looking for the wrong thing, so you're looking for the right thing. It's not just about the image. Okay? It's a spiritual thing. I was taken to that level, and communication. That's all I have to say.
So I have a. Give it a Virgil. Please.
Have you guys ever heard the story, of the princess and the toad? Okay. So sometimes I'm answering this panelist, I forget your name.
Sir Worthy.
So when I'm talking about what you give out, I'm talking about from what's in here. I'm not talking about what you see on the outside. And sometimes we have insecurities and fears and triggers inside of us, and we attract people with the same thing. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so I'm going to interject and I'm going to say this though. I'm going to bring it to a more accountable perspective. Okay? It's called preferences, and being emotionally aware and intentionally aware of those preferences. The reason why you keep on bringing the wrong person to your life is because of your preferences. I don't know about the manifestation part of it where, hey, you know what I put out there I attract. I'm 50-50 on that. I don't know if it's anything else, but what I do know is that for women, it's this, right? And for men, it's also this. There's a 7-to-1 ratio, women to men. Okay.
Hold on, let it finish.
Wait, I'm not finished. Please let me finish. I will say, again, I will continue, right? It's a 7 to 1. Every time you add a preference, you're competing with 2 or 3 people. So if you want him 6 feet tall, you're now 10 to 1. You say you want him to have 9 inches or 8 inches, or whatever it is, 10 inches. You're now competing with another 5 women. You want him 6 figures, 7 figures. You're now competing with another 5 women. So by the time you add 10 preferences to that 7 to 1 ratio, you're now in competition with 25 plus women. And then, on top of it, your preferences keep you single. And I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Jen, I have something I want to share, but you go next.
No, you share first.
Yeah, go ahead. You share first.
Okay. So what I want to talk about really quickly is going back to the question, which is, why do I keep getting it wrong? A lot of it is stemmed in childhood trauma, and I'll explain. Is when we're growing up, our parents either give us gifts or gaps, right? So for example, if your parents gave you, I'll use myself as an example. So my parents were very affirming to me, right? When I was 8, my mom said, "You're going to university, you're going to do this." Like, there was nothing I couldn't do. I was affirmed at a very young age. It's a gift. A gap. So my parents came from Jamaica, and they were driven on education. And as a result, they put all their money into their children and education. We didn't travel a lot. We didn't have adventures and a lot of outings. That was a gap for me. So now, fast forward to me now, I have gifts, right? I had 2 parents, mom and dad, married for 60 years. Right, so I saw love, I saw romance. I saw my mom and dad chivalrous to each other. I see my dad serve my mom, and I see my mom serve my dad, like literally. And I want to say to the other point about roles, co-construct the role that you want in the relationship for yourself. No one here on the panel can say, this is your role and that should be your role. Co-construct, right? Co-construct your role. So my parents, I saw that. I saw my mom affirm my dad affirm my mom, and in result, my parents affirmed me. So what is the trauma, like for me, for example, would be now in a relationship, I have a gift, and I have an expectation that whoever I marry or get with has to be an affirmer. He has to say, "Kim, you're the best, you're gonna do that," like my parents. So I go in with an expectation that I gotta find a guy who's gonna be affirming and tell me, "You're amazing, you're this," because I've heard it since day one. Right? So the gap was, for example, for me, is now I have an expectation, because I didn't grow up having all that adventure, is that I'm expecting that my partner is going to take me on trips and have adventure, because I was missing that. Right? I was missing that because for as a child, it was all education. Right? It wasn't about taking a break and doing it. So now I desire that. I desire to travel and have adventure. So I have to be careful that I don't put my childhood issues on someone to fill the gap or to be the gift, right? I can't do that. I have to fill that. I have to go on adventures. I have to travel. I have to love myself. I have to be able to affirm myself and not have expectations, but have alignment. So when I'm looking for somebody, do you align with what I already have? Right? Because I have to pour into myself. So when I'm looking, I'm not expecting that you better take me there, and you better do this, and you better provide for me this, and that you better affirm me. I have to be affirming. I have to lead with love. I have to be all of that, and then I find someone who aligns with that, with what I already have, as opposed to saying, I expect you to do that for me. So I want us to go back and think about in our childhood, where were the gifts that we had that we're projecting on someone? And where were the gaps that we had that we're expecting someone to fill, as opposed to saying, how do we align and how do we take each other there? You're not there yet, but I love you and I want you to come with me. So let me have grace. Let me have grace so we could pull each other up where we're missing stuff together.
Very good answer.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. Anybody else from the panel?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm getting more to the point of what you're trying to make with spiritually, but you know what? What I'm hearing is it's starting to sound like this is a big therapy session almost. And a lot of people don't know what the inside of their therapist is. It looks like, that's what I'm saying.
Love
And a lot
Jones
of people
therapy.
don't know what the inside of their therapist's office looks like. and they want to jump into a relationship. And I think, so what I'm saying is, because we're having a lot of discussion about knowing yourself, understanding yourself, right? I'm not asking anybody here, but who's really gone to therapy before they decided to go into a relationship?
Hands up, anybody has gone for therapy?
A lot of us have jumped into a relationship and then found out we needed therapy, right? That's how it worked, right? A lot of us jumped into a relationship and then found out we needed therapy, right? But we all know we have traumas from slavery, right? And that are holding us back. So why are not all of us just going to go get therapy before we actually find someone, if we're all kind of broken? So I think it's just a vetting process. We attract the wrong type, vet the person. So you can wear what you want to wear, act however you want to act. When that person comes to you, you then need to have a process of how you're going to eliminate the good people in your life from the bad people from the good people. So it's just, I think, a vetting process that all needs to be done.
Okay, we're gonna take
Yeah, because we're not gonna.
from the audience.
Because the two of you are gonna go back and forth, back and forth. We need to get to the audience.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
All right.
But hold on one second before we even go to the audience. We have an elder in the building, so show him some respect.
Mr.
Right here, give him a round of applause.
Dr. Winston LaRose, 85 years old, young, and he's one of the last icon of legend in the black community here. The co-chair of Carabana is this is a gentleman who invented the Kiddies Carnival along Eglinton Avenue. Then he take it over to Jane and Finch.
Mr. Jane and Finch himself.
The Panam Torch Relay, we brought it to Jane and Finch for the Canadian military. And he was the first to brought the Hip Hop Summit to Canada with Russell Simmons and Chrysler, Canada. Chris Brown, Destiny Child, and all the others. Russell Simmons. So this is a gentleman. Also his background, he have over 30 years mental health, and he work in the psychiatric ward, Guyana, England, Canada. So this is a gentleman that need no introduction. So you will see. And watch our documentary, Mr. Jane and Finch, Black Community Leader. We got 2 Screenwriters Award from CBC. And CBC follows here in Jane and Finch over 2 years and documented this documentary. It's a groundbreaking documentary. Mr. Jane and Finch, Black Community Leader. It was shown in Morehouse College down there in Atlanta, Tyler Perry Studio, and in Vancouver, Nunavut, taking on a life of his own. This is the gentleman behind the documentary. Out of 66 movies and documentaries from around the world, we were the most critical acclaimed documentary. Black Film Festival. So, without no introduction, we bring to you Mr. Jane and Finch, the man himself, Dr. Winston LaRose, elder, or the last icon of legend.
Get everybody to stand up, please.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's get a hand for Peter. This man, he is the protege that I think will be taking over my role as Mr. Jane and Finch when I'm gone. He does an amazing job all the time. What a beautiful, beautiful audience you are. I look at the faces and I look at the discipline, and I'm sure each of you is in a relationship of some kind or another. And so it really warms my heart to see this therapy session that you're doing here. You've done an amazing job bringing all these beautiful black people out for Black History Month and to address a fundamental problem of how difficult it is to love and to stay in relationships and to pass that on to the next generations. So as I look at you, you're the younger version of me 20 years, about 40, 60 years ago, whatever it was, right? And so I've gone through those stages, know the hardships and the difficulty, but one thing I have to say to you, it's all about the journey. Each of you will have that individual, independent journey that you'll be experiencing in the same way that most of us have, and our grandparents and our great-grandparents and all those that came before us. It's not new. It's just that we all have to travel that journey, and when you're going through it, be resilient. Feel that what is more important is that you need to enjoy your life along the way. The tragedies that come are to be expected, right? You might lose a father, mother, sister, husband, son, daughter, whatever it is along the way. Some of us experience that, and others have not experienced it. But whatever it is, the simple aspect of how you engage in a relationship and learn to love and respect each other in it brings a quality to it that could be forever enjoyable, right? But if you fail at it, don't ever give up, because love is always around the corner, right? You will find someone with whom you're more compatible and you have the common goals and objectives, and you will succeed at love, because it's in us fundamentally as human beings. We love our children, we love our mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, even our dogs. But love is a feeling, a sensation that each of you have experienced, and if you failed at it because you became angry at the breakup or the breakdown, but it's awaiting you again, right? So I want you to keep that sense of hope and resilience always. And I don't want to take up the night, but I'm happy for the opportunity to be able to speak to you and to say that it doesn't matter how old you get, and I'm soon will be 86. But you know, I haven't given up on love either, right? I enjoy my own life, my own relationship, and for me, I can say to you that it's the difficulties that you endure that gives it value, right? Once you overcome it, you'll be able to look back. So thank you very much. Continue to, this is a remarkable event. I didn't think you'd be able to pull so many black people out to talk about. Peter is advising me, and this is my advice, you know, I have to listen to him sometimes, right? He's talking about no man in the house. What's happening to that? What's that all about? Why suddenly, particularly in the black family, there's no father, there's no man, there's no male role model. So how does a black boy become a black man, right? He's got to learn it from a man. And if there's not a grandfather wrong or a father, and certainly in a relationship, you manage relationship, you have hardships. The young child in that relationship observes how you manage your relationship. That's how they learn. When they do not have that experience, if the man is somewhere else and just comes to visit, and the mother's raising all these boys, and they're ending up in the prisons in large numbers, right, or being shot and killed. You know the story, right? It's all about black boys not becoming black men. And I think there's an agenda somewhere to make sure that black men don't exist. So we want to make sure, and it might not be your agenda, but you're in a system that has been conducting this for generations. And the black man, out of the black family, leaves no black children because they'll become something else biologically. So I want to say to you that you love and you learn to respect the other in your life, but make sure if we're going to reproduce and if we're going to have us equal say in our world, in the world, then we need to give strength and capacity, not just to our daughters, but to our sons. My last word will be, I do spend quite a bit of time going to the prisons, and that's where I see a lot of black boys, right? Not so much black girls, because there might be one prison in the entire country, federal level, but there's several, and most of them contain black men, right? So let's not get them there. At this point, it's not about blame. It's about acknowledging that the challenges that you have to face in North America and in the Western world, right, might not be so true on the African continent. But generally, what black men have to face is the fact that there's a system that does not want to see him succeed. If you've got a strong and loud and articulate voice, they're coming after you. Think of Martin Luther King, right? He was a peacemaker, but they went after him as well. So I said to you, even today, right, unless you have a strong voice representing you, unless you can respect your man, and I thank you, sister, for emphasizing that men are important too, right? They do have a role. Let's get them back into the family life. Let's get them back into the home. And let's have fatherhood in the black family again. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Love Jones Therapy is not just about the young, but it's also about the elderly too, right? Because they got a voice. And we appreciate you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Let me tell you how a black do not crack. He is 86. Mr. Jaden Finch, it was a pleasure having you here. Okay, so I need to repeat the question because we're going to take some questions for the audience. Once that's done, we're going to take a short intermission so people could go to the bathroom, get some beverages. The question was...
Okay, while you look for the question, I just wanted to say
Yes.
one thing. Sometimes we have to be very careful about what the media, just like what Mr. Jane and Finch said, there's an attack on the black family, not just black men, black women and black men and black children, because they killed children too. But this narrative that there's 7-1 by birth, women to men, has been a fallacy that I don't know where it started, but I'm going to read Stats Canada, because my son was the one that debunked it to me. My son was the one that said, no, mommy, that's not true. My male son. Okay. The sex ratio in Canada in 2021 is 98.58 males per 100 females. All right? So the percentage of female population is 50.36 compared to 49.64 male population. Basically, that's 50-50. What happens after birth is a different story. So there's some men that end up in the prison system. Some men get killed. 80% of the suicide, they say, are male. So then after birth, the available men to women may change. But it's not 7-1. That is an agenda to push a certain...
Okay, so here's the question. The question was, I keep attracting the wrong type. What am I doing wrong? So I'm going to take 5 people that want to expand on this question from the audience, please.
Yeah, we got right here.
Yeah, he was first.
Yeah.
And we need to get some more people, no offense, but we need to get some more interaction from some people, please. Not just the same people. We need more people to interact, please. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. To that question, I would say that person really needs to look at the common denominator, which would be themselves. You keep attracting the wrong person. You keep attracting this. You keep attracting that. A lot of freedom comes when you realize that a lot of the stuff that you learned from people who you loved, they didn't know what they were doing. So you have to unlearn all of that too. There's broken people walking around that don't even know that they're broken. I understand someone said that they, 2-parent household and, the positivity and all that stuff. I grew up 1-parent household. My mom, extremely positive. Told me I couldn't do, there's nothing that I can't do. And to this day, I still believe it. And those that know me know that I lived up to it. The other thing is that my uncles, now this is where the dynamic changed. Because my uncles, jealous. So, and they had their wives. And their nieces are there watching all of this. And if I don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, this is what healthy looks like to me. You understand?
Very good point.
So if I see that, my uncle's going into the room and this woman's coming out happy, and then his wife goes in the room and she's coming out miserable, I don't want to be like the miserable one. I want to be like the happy one. But as a child, I don't know that's a side piece. You know what I mean? I'm talking the truth. I don't know that girl's a side piece. All I know is that she's happy. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm dead ass serious. Right. You don't know. So what you think is happiness, and I had to unlearn that. I had to unlearn that, your goal isn't to be a side piece just because she's happy. But what I saw was a man making one woman happier than the other one, and I wanted him to make me happy. But I didn't know the position that she was in as a side chick. So these are things that people need to deal with also and unlearn them from the people who you loved because they had no idea of what they were doing. They were just as fresh and green as us because, yeah, they lived whatever, but they didn't live in this time. Just like how the future generations, they think everything's okay. Color lines don't matter to them. This and that, sexes don't matter to them, but it matters to us. Everything changes along the lines. It's what you see. It's your narrative. So if that's what you see all the time and you don't know anything different, and you look at TV and say TV's a load of crap because my life here is happy, you're going to stick with what makes you happy. You think what makes you happy. Because in the end, it turns out to be the same person over and over again. And that's why I will reiterate again. Unlearn stuff that you've learned from people who you love, because they had no idea what they were doing either.
Thank you. Hold on one second.
Hi, you know what? I think you guys got to give yourself a little bit of grace. I think what the problem is, we've been attracted to a performance and you're missing your science. And what I mean by that is we're all performing when we leave, but we're true selves when we get home. You can only perform for so long. So when you're sitting with that man that you're dating, you're watching a movie, and it's something about cheating, and he's like, yeah, handle your business. Listen to that. When you're walking down the street, and he's checking out the gal, and trying to act like he's young, listen to that. Watch your signs. Don't get caught up in the whole, but he's so cute. I'm together with my husband for 30 years. Before that, married for 28. Before that, I was a guy who was so handsome. Oh my God, everybody was saying, woo, girl, how you got him? Then I came home to 40 messages left in 1 hour. I listened to that. Psycho, who leaves 40 messages in 1 hour asking, where are you? You're not at home yet? What's going on? Control freak, bye.
Very good.
Thank you.
So we're moving on to the next question. But before we do, I just want to say one quick thing. A lot of us grew up in two homes. Actually, grew up in one home with two parents in it. For my example, really quickly, I had mother and father in the home, stepfather. But my stepfather was not the traditional father figure. He didn't teach me anything. He didn't show me anything as a young boy. We're talking about instilling in our young men. Empowerment. I grew up learning to love after I had my children. My mom was so busy trying to navigate the damage in the household. And you know, Caribbean old school fathers and grandfathers were very stern. Some of them liked to drink, some chat, some cussed out a bad word. I grew up in a rough household, but I'd never instilled that into my children. So again, internally, we have to look and say, you know what are we looking for, and how do we deliver that in our life and our relationship, and we can move on.
And quickly, stop dating the same people in different bodies.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, we keep talking about the other person. We keep attracting the other person, and it's the same person and the same person. But I'm not hearing a lot of talk about us when we leave that person. So when you leave that person, what did you do to leave and say, what am I doing? Who am I? What did I do in that relationship that made it go sour? What am I continuing to do? Now, don't get me wrong. When you leave a relationship, a lot of times you're going to look at the other person and say, they did this, they did that, they did this, they did that. But if you don't want to fall into the same pattern, you have to sit down with a pen and paper, use your phone, use color note, whatever it is you want to use, but you have to write down where you fell short so that you don't bring that to the table. Because if you're going to come back with your same self, my name's Nishka, so if I'm coming now, hi, I'm Nishka. I left you as Nishka and I'm coming you as Nishka, but I don't want to come with the same Nishka that I was over there because you're not that person. So I got to come with a different Nishka, an elevated Nishka. Someone that went and did some research on myself, went and looked into trauma as we've been speaking of what we saw in our household. But if you can't keep going with the same Nishka to every relationship and think that you're not going to get the same answer. You're going to get the same person because you yourself might be drawing that out of that person. So we're always pointing fingers, But if it's one thing my parents always taught me, when you point fingers, look where the next three are going. So we need to elevate ourselves. I've heard a lot of that, but we keep blaming the next person.
Okay, we're going to take one more, and then we're going to take a break.
I'm kind of reiterating what they were saying, but you attract what's inside of you. We do not pay attention to ourselves. We like to deflect. So who you're attracting is what you're dealing with. So sometimes you get in relationships and you get to talking to the person and you're like, me too, me too. This happened to you, this happened to me. Because life is spiritual. And what's inside of you is what you're attracting. So what we have to do is deal with, as she was saying, in the same way that we need to deal with ourselves, deal with our own childhood trauma, go to therapy, deal with our issues, and then we will attract something different. Whatever you attract is in you. You just don't know it yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Angela right here, real quick.
Hi, everybody. Great conversation. I'm going to get a little bit closer to you guys so we can really talk. There was something that was said on the panelists, and I don't want it to be missed. One of the most important things that we can do as a community is take mental health seriously. And I believe you said that very clearly, but I believe it was missed, right? We do not, actually, as a community, it is not important for us to understand the importance of mental health. Me, myself, actually, the question that was asked is the number one question I get asked by my clients when they come to therapy sessions. The number one thing that I work on with the people in my community. And to say that I was really surprised that most of my clients are black men. So I was really happy to see that. As a licensed therapist, one of the things that we need to do, our board reinforces it, is that we have to be supervised. So when you're looking for a good therapist, find somebody who's being supervised. Because I bring my own biases and I bring my own trauma. And I have to make sure that when I'm telling you, I'm not bringing myself into it to guide you. So one of the things that my therapist, when I went to him and I said, and I asked this question, it was our very first question I asked. He said to me, Angela, you ever date yourself before? And I said, date myself? How am I going to date myself? And that was one of the very first things I did with my therapist, is I learned how to date myself, right? So therefore, I understood how to love me. I understand what I needed. I understand self-compassion. So when I meet a person from my community or out of my community, I understand how to give love and how to give respect, because I know how to give it to myself. Before you guys all go, there's one, if you guys all give me consent, just a little bit of psychoeducation. It's something I want you to think about as you're taking the break, right? And to participate, love the participation. So just give me a show of hands, and we're going to talk about the most important organ in your body. How many people, a show of hands, if you think it's the heart? How many people? It's the heart? Okay. How many people think it's the brain? Okay. So, yes, the most important organ in your body is the brain. Okay? You cannot, no matter how far we've come, we cannot live without the brain. So, let's talk about the next organ you have called the skin. Okay? Now, the skin is, I think it's, don't quote me, I think it's like 7th or 8th, someplace down there, as the most important organ in your body. When you get a cut on your skin, what do? Bleed. You bleed, right? When you bleed, what do? Yeah, you go get a Band-Aid. Let's just say you get a
you do? Yeah. How many people who'd get a cut that's bad enough leave it? Hands of hands. Show hands. We have one person who said who'd leave the cut. Okay? So what happens, a show of hands, what happens if you leave the cut? Do you think it'd get infected? Okay, so most of us agree to get infected, right? Do we leave, when we get any type of hurt, cut, pain to our body, do we ignore it? Okay. So, and that is way down there as important organs in our body. So, what happens when you hurt your brain? What do we do? What do we do? I'd like you guys to ponder that, right? As the most important organ in your body that you could not live without. Before we get through, there's a lot of other things that we have to now talk about once we realize that. But I want you to go and ponder when you hurt your brain. And when you hurt your brain, we're talking about you feel sadness, you cry, you feel pain, you feel frustration. You've done some kind of damage to your brain. It may not be a big one, but you guys have all agreed with me today. When you put a very small cut on your hands, you run, go get a Band-Aid, and you cover it up. But your brain, what do you do? Okay. Thank you. Everybody give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Angela.